Oh, I see you found my hideaway. I come here to think, which is the hardest work we can do. Probably the reason we have so few thinkers. What I've been thinking about is you, our stress on a good stock of parts, and on having our agents service our cars. Right off, that was an outstanding element of the success of the Ford car. Before that, if a car broke down and had to have parts replaced, that was just the hard luck of the owner. They sold the parts and the repairs at the highest possible price. Figured the man had already bought the car, so they had him over a barrel. Besides, when we put in the assembly line to put the making of automobiles on a scientific basis, we actually changed from making automobiles to making parts. The parts join up on the line to become automobiles. So you and parts are the core of the apple. And that's why you and I need to do some talking. Now, there's been a lot of fuss lately about our business. Now, I may have founded this company, but it's your business. Any man who asks another man to work with him in a business can't say later, I made that business, because ask someone to do a job for you and you take that man on as your partner. And that, by the way, is how I go on labor ideas. The company and those who produce are partners, in the soup together, so to speak. If a worker produces well, does quality work, he should get the rewards. The $5 a day was the start of that, and soon our production and quality were up to where we paid $7 and $8. And anyhow, there's been a lot of fuss lately about our business and the economy. Some cry and carry on about how the world is in a mess. Now, I have no sympathy with people who say the world is getting worse, because it isn't. In my lifetime, I witnessed similar times. When we started in 1903, there was a terrible depression. We'll have another one soon, I suspect. Prices of most things going sky high, false prosperity, I call it. Until prices go so high, people can't afford to buy. Or quality goes so low, people don't care to own. And then we suffer until we learn again to make quality goods at the price people can afford. Now, if you think this country is in a hole, you had better set your mind to helping to pull it out. Because the welfare of this country is squarely up to you as individuals, not to the politicians. I heard the other day that the automobile industry is going to be put on the road to recovery by a group of political experts. And I ask, who are these supermen? I've been looking for such men all my life. The greatest need is for a light, low-priced car with an up-to-date engine of ample horsepower, built of the very best material, and offered at a price the ordinary pocketbook can stand. I first said that back in 1906 or so, I believe. Still true. But to do all that calls for you to do what Tom Edison does, and that's to see through things. There's not enough seeing through things today either. A bin full of parts waiting to be used. To some that might be wise, but see through and you see waste. Money sitting there, space wasted. Now, I've worked to have each part arrive exactly when we're ready to put it on the car. That's the idea of my Rouge River plan. So let's put poor business in a class with smallpox. That is preventable. And stop this fuss about competition. including that from across the ocean. There are always two of everything in the world, and that means there's always bound to be competition. Trying to stop it is like throwing a handful of ashes into the teeth of a gale. Now, there's no trouble in selling good products. In fact, never has enough of a good thing been made to satisfy the numbers who want to buy it. Now that we've built more cars than anybody else, we're going to build better cars than anybody else. And we'll do it because we won't be beaten. More men are beaten than fail, you know. It isn't wisdom they need, or money, or brilliance, or pull, just plain gristle and bond. Stick-to-itiveness, we call it. I built 8 cars before I got the Model T, and that doesn't count my experimental ones, or my race cars, the ones I used to set the speed records and to prove that I had a knowledge of how to build a reliable engine. Stick by your toenails, boys, and you'll make it. I've been sticking by my toenails all my life. My toys were all tools, just as machines are to a mechanic, what books are to a writer. He gets ideas from them. A gasoline engine is essentially a delicate instrument, and we give anyone an opportunity to mess it up. That's why our parts must be made so well. By that I mean cheap and good, so people will buy new ones instead of trying to repair the old ones. And they should be carried in hardware shops, just as nails or bolts or light bulbs. And so a man can make his own repairs if he's a mind to. And remember, never be so set in your ways that you can't change with the times. The man who's too set to change is dead already. Funeral's a mere detail. My preference is to look forward, and I've been doing that all my life.